Let's start the next part of our topic. In that we are seeing here Millikan symbols. So these particular Millikan symbols which are there for atomic and molecular orbital, the scientist gave a particular symbols where we can decide a particular axis of symmetry, okay, whether it is degenerate or non-degenerate or symmetric or unsymmetric or doubly degenerate or triply degenerate. For discussing for that all, the particular scientist Mulliken gave us symbols, and that we are dealing today over here. That is under the heading Mulliken symbols. And these are the symbols, and here we are giving the explanation about it. In that first symbol which will be there, that is nothing but A. Capital A. What it can be tells a particular A means the particular molecule with a symbol is given A, then the molecule which is there, that is non-degenerate orbital symmetric to the principal rotational axis of symmetry. Non-degenerate orbital. Okay, first thing what, which type of orbital? Non-degenerate type of orbital it is, isn't it? So non-degenerate means what? The elements can be generated when all the atoms are inverted through the center of molecule. So if center of molecule is not inverted at all over, means the elements cannot be degenerate. So non-degenerate orbital symmetric, which is principal to the rotational axis of symmetry. Now next question will arise. What is the meaning of this particular rotational axis of symmetry? I'll tell you here first the definition about it, rotational axis of symmetry. Just see what is the definition, and then I will tell you the meaning of that. So this rotational axis of symmetry is nothing but, it is an imaginary axis. It is an imaginary axis passing through the molecule. Consider this is one of our molecule. Okay, this is our molecule, and in this molecule an imaginary axis which is passed from this particular molecule. It is an imaginary axis passing through the molecule over which rotation can be carried out, and this particular line rotation can be carried out, okay, isn't it, to take molecule from one orientation to the another equivalent orientation. So rotation may be in this direction or this direction, doesn't matter, but equivalent position can be reached over here. Take an example of Earth. Earth can be rotate from herself as well as Sun, isn't it? Same way, at a particular time it can be rotate with herself as well as Sun. A time can be reached, because of that a day and night can be happens. Equivalent rotation happens of Earth, isn't it? Same way here also happen. So this is what Cn. The definition of Cn I have told you. Cn is nothing but our rotational axis of symmetry. Rotational axis of symmetry. And here what they have told about a non-degenerate orbital symmetric to the principal rotational axis of symmetry. The non-degenerate orbital symmetric to the principal rotational axis of symmetry, that is Cn. And rotational axis of symmetry I have told, they will reach at equivalent position same itself. Okay, and we have to draw over here imaginary line or imaginary axis passing through the molecule over which rotation can be carried out to take a molecule from one orientation to the another equivalent orientation over here. Okay, this is about the symbol A. I hope you understood about the symbol A. Nothing but non-degenerate orbital symmetric to the principal Cn. Okay, Cn means what? I have already told you. It is just the molecule which is just symmetric to this particular Cn or rotational axis of symmetry. Next symbol is about B. B can indicate non-degenerate orbital. Non-degenerate orbital. Okay. Non-degenerate orbital unsymmetric to the principal Cn. Unsymmetric to the, I have told about symmetric. Unsymmetric to the principal Cn. So what is this particular non-degenerate orbital unsymmetric to the principal Cn? So if you put Okay, just I will giving you example here. I'm telling you about the symmetric and unsymmetric. Symmetric, take one particular here round like this and another one round. If you kept on it, both are symmetric in the nature. Both one can be fit easily and another. Unsymmetric, if you took surface of one and surface of another, they will be fit one with one another, but surface cannot be touched to one another. I will give here example. This is symmetric, isn't it? Symmetric touching. This is unsymmetric touching, isn't it? So here about B, non-degenerate orbital unsymmetric to the principal Cn. Next symbol about E, doubly degenerate orbital. About E I am telling, E is doubly degenerate orbital. Okay, next symbol is there, that is nothing but T. T is nothing but triply degenerate orbital. T is nothing but triply degenerate orbital. And another symbols which are there, I will just show you that. See here, just see these particular symbols. First symbol is there, subscript 9. Yes, subscript 9 which will be there, this particular symbol, symmetric with respect to the center of inversion. Next, subscript 4, unsymmetric with center of inversion. Subscript 1, symmetric with respect to C2. Next, subscript 2, unsymmetric with respect to C2. And next, subscript 3, perpendicular to the principal Cn. These all are perpendicular to the principal Cn. And next, superscript 2 and superscript 2, symmetric with respect to Sn and unsymmetric with respect to Sn. I will tell you this meaning of all Cn, C2 and Sn. Okay, just these are the symbols are there, you have to keep in your mind. Nothing, no one will ask you in the examination. Simply subscript 9412 and superscript 22, superscript 2, superscript 2. Okay, subscript and superscript, that two are there, that is antonyms, synonyms, how you can tell. Same way here also are there. Suffix we have to put subscript and superscript. Okay, which are symmetric with respect to inversion, unsymmetric with respect to inversion, symmetric with respect to C2 and perpendicular to the principal Cn, unsymmetric with respect to C2 and perpendicular to the principal Cn, unsymmetric with respect to Sn as well as symmetric with respect to Sn. That is superscript and superscript 2, that you have to write over here. I have already told you about the Cn, that is rotational axis of symmetry, isn't it? Cn we have already learned, our rotational axis of symmetry. We have already learned about it, isn't it? That is one of the imaginary line or imaginary axis passing through the molecule, over which rotation can be carried out to take molecule from one orientation to the another equivalent orientation. That is about Cn. Next, about C2 I will tell you. C2, simple or secondary rotational axis. C2 is nothing but simple or secondary rotational axis. Okay, this is C2. Next, third part which will be there, that is inversion center. Inversion center, I will tell you about it. Inversion center I. So this inversion center, this is an element generated, this is an element generated This is an element generated when all the atoms are inverted through the center of molecules. When all the atoms are inverted through the center of molecule, inverted through the center of molecule. This is an element generated when all the atoms are inverted through center of molecule. That is nothing but inversion center. We can represent that is by the letter I. So what it is actually? Here element will be generated when all the atoms which are there, they have to invert the center of molecule. That time a particular element will develop or generate. That center we used to call it as an what? Inversion center. This thorough part which will be there, it is just imaginary part. How it is rotational axis, imaginary axis, isn't it? Passing through the molecule. C2 secondary rotational axis. Next I, inversion center. Okay, element generated when all the atoms are inverted to the center of molecule. Now next part which will be there, that is emperor, rotation of axis of symmetry or rotation reflection axis, that we used to call it as an SN. SN is nothing but what? I will tell you. Here I will write improper rotation axis. SN improper rotation axis of symmetry, or we can also call it as a rotation reflection axis or a rotation reflection axis. So SN third term, CN first term, C2 second term, I third term, this is fourth term, SN. What SN? Improper rotation axis of symmetry or rotation reflection axis. This operation is the combination or product of two successive operations. Or this particular, what I have to tell you is that this is the combination of two successive operations. I will write here combination of two successive operations that is, first one is nothing but, I will write here, that is rotation by 360. It can be followed by reflection at a plane perpendicular to the axis, about the axis, plus reflection at a plane perpendicular to the axis, reflection at plane perpendicular to the axis. So what is this actually? Improper rotation axis means combination of two successive operations. First one is the particular element can be rotated at 360 first, and reflection at plane perpendicular. This is our plane. Okay, isn't it? This is our molecule. First it can be rotated at 360 and again it can be reflect of plane perpendicular to the axis. This is our molecule. It can be rotated at 360 and again it can be reflect, isn't it, to the plane, to the perpendicular to the axis. It means exact opposite to operation can be happens. So we used to call this that improper rotation axis of symmetry or rotation reflection axis. So this is the combination of two successive operations, that is rotation by 360 and reflection at plane perpendicular to the axis. So let me tell you these terms once again, these all. First term which will be there, Cn, that is nothing but rotational axis of symmetry definition. Just see rotational axis of symmetry definition. It is an imaginary axis passing through the molecule over which rotation can be carried out to take a molecule from one orientation to the another orientation. To take molecule from one orientation to the another orientation, rotation can be carried out, and from that we have to pass one imaginary axis, that we call it as an what? Rotation axis of symmetry. What I mean to tell you is that to pass the molecule from one orientation to the another orientation, we have to pass one imaginary axis from that particular molecule. That rotation we have to call rotation axis of symmetry, or we used to call it as an Cn. This is first definition term. Next term is there, C2 term, simple or secondary rotation axis. Isn't it? This is, we call it as an C2, same like rotation axis of symmetry itself, like Cn only, but it is secondary rotational axis. Next, third which will be there, inversion center, that is I. This is an element generated when all the atoms are inverted through the center of molecule. All the elements can be inverted through the what? Center of molecule. We used to call it as an I. Next, fourth one which will be there, that is Sn. Sn, improper rotation axis, improper or rotation reflection axis. Combination of two successive operations. The first one is the rotation by 360 about the axis and reflection at a plane perpendicular to the axis. This is about the improper rotation axis of symmetry. This is about what? Some terms involved in this, isn't it? Now next part which will be there, that is nothing but spectrochemical series. Next part we are going to link here, spectrochemical series. So you are already familiar with ligands means what, isn't it? So this spectrochemical series means the arrangement of ligands, in the increasing order of ligand field splitting energy, increasing order of ligand field splitting energy, that is delta, is called spectrochemical series. Okay, so what is spectrochemical series? The arrangement of ligands in the increasing order of ligand field splitting energy, that is delta, is called spectrochemical series. So there are mainly two parts are there in the ligand, that is one is weak field ligand, another one is the strong field ligand. Okay, so spectrochemical series in the decreasing order of their ligand field splitting energy which will be there, how it can be decreasing in the order, I will tell you in one of the series. In that first, just I will go on writing over here so that you can understand. I will start from weak field I minus, isn't it? Then that of Br minus, then that of Cl minus, then that of SCN, isn't it? Here F is not there, keep in your mind. I took what? First iodine, bromine, chlorine, cyanide, isn't it? Thiocyanide. Next I will take EF, fluorine. iodine, bromine, chlorine, cyanide, fluorine. Next which will come? Next will come hydroxy group, our hydroxy. Next which will come? Our acetone, isn't it? Next will come oxalate. Oxalate will come. Next will come H2O. I'll write that H2O at here just to see. H2O. Next after H2O will come NH3. Next NO2. Next CN. Not SCN. I'll took here CN. And next CO. So in this case, where is an weak field means here weak field is there. Weak field, or I can tell here spectrochemical series in the decreasing order of ligand field splitting. So what it is, here I will write C of SC. What is this particular C of SC means? Crystal field splitting energy. C of SC, sorry SE, crystal field splitting energy, small, here small, and is here from strong field here, isn't it? So here CFSC, what? CFSE is strong, or I will write here large. So in this order it is, isn't it? In this order, here it is small and here it is strong or large. So once again I will tell you this about spectrochemical series. The arrangement of ligand in the increasing order of their ligand field splitting energy is called spectrochemical series. And here spectrochemical series in the decreasing order of ligand field splitting energy is given here. Just to see that small ligand can cause greater crystal field splitting because they can approach the metal ion closely. So in that, which can be approached the metal ion closely? You can take example here, iodine, bromine, chlorine is there, F is there. They can be approached the metal ion closely. So what? They are having what? Greater crystal field splitting. They can approach the metal ion closely. They can be approached the metal ion very closely. And the ligands having vacant pi star and d orbital, there is a possibility of pi back bonding with the ligand. Such ligands are called pi acceptor. Okay, example you can take Cn minus CO is there. These two example. For which example I am telling? Pi back bonding, or they can be also called it as a pi acceptor. Pi acceptor, isn't it? I'll tell you, they can be accept the pi back, isn't it? So these two facts I am telling you in this. I will write over here just to see. There are mainly two facts are there in the spectrochemical series. In that first fact is there, the small ligand can cause the small or weak field. I will write here weak field ligand can cause greater crystal field splitting, greater crystal field splitting, because they can approach the metal ion closely, because they can approach metal ion closely. We can take here example, I is there, Br is there, Cl is there, as well as F is there. So this is the first fact about the spectrochemical series, the small or weak field ligand which are there. they can cause a greater crystal field splitting because they can approach metal ions closely. And the second fact which will be there about pi back bonding, what they have told here, just to see, with the ligands having, second fact, the ligands having vacant pi star or d orbital, there is a possibility of pi back bonding with the ligands. Such ligands are called pi acceptor. And the interaction increases. You can take here example Cn, Co, etc. These are what? Strong field, isn't it? So these two facts they have gave about the spectrochemical series, isn't it? A weak field ligand can be cause splitting because they are having strong approach towards the metal ion. They have gave example, and another example the ligand having vacant pi star or d orbital, possibility of pi back bonding with ligand. Such ligands are called as pi acceptor. We have gave example Cn, Co, etc. Okay, this is about what? Today's class. Let me revise we have took today's class. We have took about the Millikan's symbol. Next terms involved in that is rotational axis of symmetry. Next inversion center, improper rotation axis. And next we saw about the spectrochemical series, and in that strong field ligand, weak field ligand. And now in the next class we will going to deal inorganic molecule spectra. Okay, in the next class we will deal what? Inorganic molecule spectra or inorganic molecular spectra we will going to deal in the next class. I hope you have understood the today's part. If you have any doubt, please contact me. Thank you.